She hit the record button and left.
All
ready?
you, Godfather.
Oh, you're ready, Joe. Okay, cool. Tiffany just boom disappeared on us. Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast. How many on here know the true story behind the Beauty and the Beast? Let me see your hands. That you've read it, studied it, understand it. Anybody? Beauty and the Beast. You know, that's a real life story. No one? Somebody's got to know. Come on. Don't ever watch things and don't always get inquisitive and find out where did the story come from. Do the history on Beauty and the Beast. That was a real man. Is someone saying yes? They know? Anybody? Chat. Let me see.
Are you talking about the Disney one?
Yeah.
Or is this real?
Where it originated from. The original story.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know.
Serena knows. Serena, tell us. Serena says yes. What is it? Okay, she said yes. Where are you, Serena? Don't be shy. Anyway, it's really an interesting. Do study it, because what I'm going to talk about this morning, it's really it's an illustration of what we do to ourselves. It was a man that was born with a rare disease. I think only 50, 60 people in the entire world had it, where you become a very, very hairy and disfigured face and almost look like an ape, right? And then he ended up getting married, and then four out of his 7 children had the same disease. They were surprised when the first one did, and so royalty got a hold of him. First, they put him in dungeons when he was 10 years old. His whole belief system was that he was a monster. But then, you know, royalty got a hold of him. He was sold to a royalty family. But then as he started meeting this woman that was the princess, you know, they started having children. They were shocked. The first child didn't have that disease. So they thought, oh, wow, it's that rare. But when they started having children that had his same disease, they started sending them around to entertain royalty all over that part of the world. And they became the laughing stock. Just a really sad story. But the beautiful story part of it was how much she loved him and so on and so forth. But, you know, do study that. It's really, really interesting. It's all over YouTube, you know, the original true story of Beauty and the Beast. So anyway, how many of you feel like a beauty this morning? How many of you feel beautiful this morning? Well, Jacopo, you always feel beautiful. That's every moment. I mean, I think, by the way, this guy, that's his favorite word, is beautiful. I love it. By the way, our first agent in Italy yesterday, right, buddy? 5. Give me 5. Our first one. First one. I love it. So anyway, how many of you feel beautiful this morning? You feel like the beauty? Come on, be honest. You speak up. Okay. Just one. Come on. Put it in the chat. Do you feel beauty? Do you feel like you're the beauty this morning? Do you feel like you're the beast this morning? Be honest. Come on. How many of you feel like a beast? Well, Jay's always a beast, but in a good way, you know. There you go. You know, Jay, the beast. Now turn your camera a little bit there, Jay. Turn your phone. The beauty. Now that's not what we're talking about, but that was fun. But anyway, how many of you feel beautiful? How many of you feel beast? No one's going to answer me. Okay, you're going to make it a Fred DeFalco show. That's it. Anybody feel like a beast this morning? All right. Okay. No one wants to be anyone.
I just
beautiful.
left the gym, so I feel beautiful and like a beast.
There you go. Hey, there you go. You're the mixture, right? But anyway, this is really serious, and you're going to get a lot out of this and understand. Let me share my screen. You know, and this is, you know, and we're doing the power panel on Wednesdays. And so this morning, I have a couple, you know, paid clients, and then I have the others that are in my group that I work with. And I keep seeing one day they're beautiful, the next day they're a beast, the next day they're beautiful, the next day they're a beast. And a number of personal things that I've been going through. You know, it's just, there's some beauty in it, but it seems like it's a beast. But you know, how can I use that? So I said, I want to bring this into the midweek mind body makeover mastermind. Again, our Facebook page, let me remind you of the Facebook page. If you're not in here, please do that. Joe, if you'll, you know, copy the link there again in the chat. Please join our Facebook community, the Mind Body Mastermind, because there's a lot of great stuff in there that I post in there all the time. But again, Wednesday, just a reminder, is that I want you to unlearn today. This is not about learning. You know, I am, my entire life is about unlearning in a thought reversal system, because we've learned too much in our life. So this is about a thinking safari to understand that our souls are perfect, that we're whole. There is a kingdom within us. An ego is evil. An evil spelled backwards is what? Live. When you spell, but so evil is nothing more than living backwards. And it's all about becoming holy, WHOLLY, because HOLY is impossible for any human being walking the face of the earth. But holy is what it's all about. That's what we're here for. And then all the lions, tigers, and bears in our life are imaginary and illusions. It's all in our head. Lay aside all sick illusions of yourself and others. And this is where I want to emphasize today. We think we can master ourselves, but so many times, 95% of us still have a grudge against one other person. And if you carry one grudge against one person that's walking the face of this earth, then you're walking around grudgeful. You're full of grudge. You can't have a grudge with any person, because they are you and you are them, and we're all connected. We are all one, and we're serving one another. It's called the universal law of compensation. Look it up. So my entire life is dedicated to getting rid of BS, belief systems that hold us hostage. And that's what it is. And it's belief systems that's been handed down by mother, fathers, teachers, and preachers. Now, I'm not talking about your mother. You know, when we were kids, if you really wanted to get to someone, you'd say, let me tell you about your mother. I'm not talking about people's mothers. I'm talking about all the mothers in our life. People who were in our ears chatting, blah, 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 do this, do that, do this, become this, become that. Our fathers. It could be our own physical father, but it could be all the other fathers and other teachers and other preachers in our life. So our belief systems, when you come to Beauty and the Beast, what a story. We don't like what we don't understand. In fact, it scares us. And this monster is mysterious, at least. And the 98% of everyone walking the planet Earth lacks understanding of themselves. And then they wonder why they can't understand a relationship, why they can't understand why life is failing. They can't understand why their life went haywire, why their life, it's so hard to understand. So it scares us. So that's where we walk around in fear more than we do love. And so how can we overcome this once and for all in our lives? And how can we get rid of that belief system that we can't understand ourselves on a daily, not a daily basis, but a moment by moment basis, and understand and trust that what's going on in our lives is all part of divine intelligence and divine integrity, and life is happening for us, not to us. Well, today, I think I'm going to get you a little bit closer to that with the story of Beauty and the Beast. Because this statement here, we don't like what we don't understand. In fact, it scares us. This monster is mysterious, at least. We have two people that look at us every morning in the mirror as soon as we wake up. We have the Beauty and we have the Beast. And so which one are you going to listen to? I love this. And what good is a voice when so few will listen? And where I want to take this is not that others won't listen. And the reason others don't listen to us right now, I have 3 out of my 3 children that are not listening to my voice. And is that their problem? No, that's my problem. I created a belief system that's in the way that now I'm going to spend the rest of my life tearing back down because of some judgments and stuff. But what good is a voice when so few will listen? Now, this is your own voice. And you see, you keep talking, but you're saying the wrong words to yourself. It's all about self-talk. It's a thing it's called self-talk. And you hear me say over and over and over again, if any of us was put on trial for what's gone through our head against ourselves, we would be sentenced to prison, because that voice, and you're not listening to the right voice. You're not listening to the voice of the Beauty. You're listening to the voice of the Beast. You're listening to the voice of the Beast. How can I help you overcome that? And I'm telling you, out of the many people that I consult with every day, all week long, the statistics are still the same. There's only about 98, only about 2%, 3% that get this yet. So I'm just trying to get people to listen to their right voice, the voice of beauty, not of the beast. This quote here: Cinderella walked on broken glass. Belle loved a beast. Snow White barely escaped a knife, because love means facing your biggest fears. And facing your biggest fears, 98% of that which we fear is illusional. It's illusions. And the other 2% you can't do anything about anyway. And the sense of risk and all this fear is just with the contemplation of what you're thinking about. I talk to people this way every day. I mean, many people go, yeah, I know, I'm going to do it. I'm doing it. It's kind of scary. But, Cinderella walked on broken glass. Belle loved a beast. Snow White barely escaped a knife, because love means facing your biggest fears. Folks, your biggest fear is yourself. The biggest fear is that beast that's living inside. Quiet that beast down and listen to the beauty. Listen to the beauty. You do not lose hope, love. If you do, you lose everything. The only thing that is real and eternal is hope and love. And those two are wrapped up in a word called forgiveness. And if you are living with one grudge against one human being walking this earth, I want to challenge you that you've given up on hope and you've given up on love. And that means you're going to lose everything. No matter what you accomplish, if you're walking around with one grudge and you have not forgiven, I keep telling you, watch the movie The Shack, and then watch the 20 sessions, 20 minutes each, called Restoring Your Shack. If you really want to understand life, you really want to understand divine intelligence, you really want to understand divine integrity, you want to understand yourself, you really want to awaken the beauty within you, watch The Shack, and then watch the 20 minutes of 20 sessions each called Restoring the Shack, because you will find that hope again. You will find that love. So this here is, you're no matter what you accomplish without hope and love, it's meaningless. This quote here: some villagers told travelers of a beast and a beauty who lived in the castle. It could be seen walking on the battlements. And others told of two beauties, and others of two beasts. I've got a really interesting opportunity going on in my life with truth versus fear right now. I've got my own family looking at my situation. Some of you know the story with, my personal situation: married 40 years, divorced 7, went back for 2 to make it work. Now there was a terrible, life-threatening situation for my ex, went into hospice. She actually now is out of hospice. Now we're back together, totally walking on her own, totally no more incognito. They had her written off as dementia. They had her written off of that, totally in her sound mind now. We eliminated 17 drugs out of her life. And yet I have people that love me, but they were raised with belief systems more of judgment than of grace and mercy and forgiveness. Some villagers told travelers of a beast and a beauty. Some think I'm the beast, she's the beauty, who lived in a castle and could be seen walking on the battlements. I have others, even in my own family, only one or two, actually only two, that say there's two beautiful people there. Most of them are saying that there's two beasts. It's not sad. You know why? Because I believe in divine intelligence and divine integrity so much. This is a battle for truth versus fear. And this whole thing came as a result of my own personal situation. I woke up on Saturday morning, and all of a sudden, I believe in the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit just said, Fred, relax. It's all about Beauty and the Beast. I don't even know. I haven't watched Beauty and the Beast for I don't know how many years. I watched it halfway. And I said, what's that all about? And I started looking at the real story. I said, oh my God, it's everything you've been teaching. If you remember last week, if you were on, I did the video, 3.5 minutes of circumstances. Please go to the Facebook group and watch my 3-minute video on circumstances and how I felt divine intelligence and divine integrity saying, stop teaching you can overcome circumstances. That's a lie. You cannot overcome circumstances in your life. Circumstances are not made to overcome. They're made to put underneath your feet. They're made to become stair steps in your life. Whatever the personal struggle is, whatever the personal issues are, whatever, no matter what, financial issues, spiritual issues, sex issues, relationships issues, children issues, family issues, they're meant as stair steps to lift you higher and higher so you can go deeper and deeper. So let me just talk about this, what came to me on Saturday morning. In an hour and a half, 2 hours of prayer and meditation, this is what I came up with. And I'm going to start this series for a podcast called Let's Talk Life, Beauty and the Beast. So the beauty is the love, and that's the beauty. And the beast is our fears. And again, this is some repeat, but the first thing I said Saturday morning, let go, let go, let go. I have a book written in the 1600s called Letting Go. I thought of that book again. I'm going back reading it. Letting go. Letting go of what? Letting go of the belief that there's something wrong with this. Letting go of the belief that this is about who's right and who's wrong. It's always about what's right and what's wrong. And if you're feeling one grudge against anybody else that's walking the face of this planet, that's wrong. There's something wrong. So not with the person, but with your belief system. Let go of that belief system. Engross yourself in the movie The Shack in the 20 follow-up sessions. If you really want to learn how to let go in life and free your soul forever and ever and ever to fly like an angel, let go. Number 2, and remember, and Joe, you can put in the docs again, the Google Drive. Remember, all this information is in my Google Drive called a SMOS for Life, because that's where the SMOS business plan is. So Joe's going to put the Google Drive in there again. So all this is in there. But when you remember the original version, this is just a reminder, because even though people have been with me 2 years, 3 years, or I'm getting on Zoom calls with them, they still want to gravitate to the program side instead of the original side. Let me remind you what I'm talking about here. It's in the Google Drive that he's sharing with you. This is who we really are, folks. This is where we were sent here with. This is how we came off of the assembly line. We were a beautiful soul, full of love, forgiveness, and atonement because of what God did for all of us. And we came with a divine mind. Look at the babies laughing and the smile is at 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, even in the womb. There's a divine mind there. The body was the least important thing. The spiritual beings having a human experience. Our souls were ruling our lives in a good way with the divine mind, will, and emotions until the first little time. It could have been 6 months old. It could have been 9 months old. That's when the fear and judgment and condemnation started in. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, you're a bad kid. Oh, you got to be a good kid. And all the program. So we were taught to use our own mind. Think for yourself. Think for yourself. You're a bad kid. I was labeled as a bad kid at 4 years old when I set a field fire. And I got a hold of some matches. The police were called on me at 4 years old. I learned very quickly. I had to quickly figure these things out. So going back to the Beauty and the Beast, you've got to focus on how you got here, the original version. Get back to that original version. It's there. It's inside you. That is what's calling you. That voice that calls you, that voice we want to drown out sometimes with drugs, alcohol, overactivity, workaholic, sex, pornography, too much of this or too much of that, is we're trying to drown out our original version. It's calling out to you, the beauty, the person who you really are. We're designed to be healthy, wealthy, and wise. The other thing is, where do you put your value? Folks, I was with a hypnotist last night, and he said something so profound. He said, some people think that hypnotism is a cool thing and it's kind of mysterious and blah, blah, blah. He says, having to put someone in hypnosis is not a task at all. He said, my life has been sent trying to get people out of their trances. Folks, we live in a trance. We do. We live with the beast. It's a trance. All of it's illusionary. Study A Course in Miracles. It teaches illusions versus truth. So where are you placing value in your life? See, love is only interested in real value. It's not interested in fake value. It's not interested in, and you know that voice that calls in you, why am I not satisfied when you get a certain thing that you've been wanting? When I got to a $5 million, the $3.5, $4 million net worth, why wasn't I satisfied? What was it that I was trying to prove to the world? And then I lost it all because I didn't see myself valuable enough to have it. And now I'm getting it back. Where is our real value? And then love always really truly goes to truth. And the truth is, folks, there's not a person on this call that could argue or debate that our bodies are not eternal, but something inside of us it is. Even my friendly atheists, I love my atheist friends. I love them and they love me because we never have a debate at all. They have more faith than I have. And I tell them that and I give them that acknowledgement. I give them value. I pour it on. Because I said, even your atheism is eternal. Even that will go on and pass on with you. And so don't be afraid of anything, any belief system. We are eternal beings. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Find your purpose here. Find your value. Stick with the original version. Don't let anybody, I don't care if it's your children, your loved ones, your spouse, telling you don't have value. And the worst part is, the reason we think people are telling us we don't have value is because we have not found the value ourselves. Once you have that value and you get out of your trance that we've been put in by belief systems, your belief systems have been waved in front of you all your life, and you don't think you're good enough. You don't think you're good enough. If you're not healthy, wealthy, and wise, now that doesn't mean $5 million in the bank. It could mean $100, but inside you have such joy, you're enjoying the $100 you have. So that's where the value is, because we are eternal beings. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. Let's talk about the beast. The beast. There's only one beast in our life, and it all arrives from fear. False education appearing real. The false belief systems that we've been instilled with. The false belief systems. I did a speech one time on 9/11 about 5 years ago. You can find it on my YouTube channel. And it was titled, Where Was Heaven on 9/11? Where was heaven on 9/11? And I made a point there. I said, how many of you, when you heard that and planes crashed in a building, you finally realized what was going on? No matter of your religious belief system, you went quiet and you said a prayer. And everybody in the audience raised their hand. I said, interesting. I said, what did you pray for? Everybody said, oh my gosh, the families, to this, to that, to this, to that, to this. I said, how many of you went far enough to pray for the people that committed that atrocity, that ugliness, and for wisdom to understand how human beings could do that? And they thought I was crazy at first. And then we went on a little bit further. And we started talking about the real value, that we have to see life as eternal. We have to figure these things out. I said, because that's just a trickle from belief systems that's circling the world that no religion is not guilty of. We want to pick on a religion for being radical. Well, I was indoctrinated with the belief of Christianity that really, was not healthy in many, many ways. It saved my life, but it wasn't healthy long term, and it really had a lot of negative effects. But study that religion. And the atrocities that happened, Catholicism, whatever it is. I mean, read a book called Fox's Books of Martyrs and see what different religions did to each other, all because of belief systems. So the beast in our life is fear, and it's our own personal belief systems that keep telling us we're not good enough. Something's wrong with me instead of something's right with me. Something's wrong with that person instead of something's right with them. What I'm going on right now with a really deep personal situation in my family, and it's emotionally, it starts to get troublesome, but I understand that the emotions are, if they're not in sync and they're not producing joy, it's just they're being programmed with fear. Once I add truth to my emotions, then I start seeing this big revelation. What's going to come out of this ugliness that's going on in my family right now? So this fear, this fear is just illusionary because of our belief system. Ego, I've already said it. Ego is nothing more than evil. It's living backwards. Evil is live spelled backwards. And I mean, evil is, live spelled backwards. And so our ego, and that chart is in here. Let me remind you again, please go here. Please copy this, print it out and put it in your mirror that you look in every morning and ask yourself, if I have one grudge, am I living on this side or this side? You can't have a grudge on this side. I don't have a grudge against one living human soul. I really don't. I don't. I only have love and cooperation and forgiveness for them. And to go inside, I wrote my children. I said, guys, I'm going to start out with a judgment here, and that a judgment is against the man that raised you. Because you were raised with a belief system that God is a God of judgment more than a God of grace. So, now that I've understood this, and I want to leave, so please print this out. And if you've got anything going on in your life, anger, you're not happy with your relationship, if you're not feeling fulfilled, it's because you're over here somehow. You're over here. You're saying the wrong prayers. What will you do for me, God? Instead of saying, well, what can I do for you, God? What can I do for you, life? You're over here in your monkey mind versus your goal mind. Please print this out. Become beautiful. Become healthy. Become wealthy. Become wise by practicing and getting back to who you really are with your divine mind. And then we've had Sonny on here talking about meditation. We've had Ro Saldi talking about hypnosis and how that we get back to these original versions to quiet our mind down. Do whatever you got to do to quiet that left side down, that left brain, because it is all attitude. And attitude, if you remember in the slide deck, I have the 12 principles of attitudinal healing. Here's another one. You need to print out. I'm sorry to keep flashing on you, but you need to print these out. You need to print this out, not that one. 12. This is another good one. I came up with this on the beach one morning. Trade in your thoughts about God and creation, exchange them for those that match his attributes and life's divine intelligence and divine integrity. These are all in that doc. But please print out the attitudinal healing, the 12 principles. This 12 principles of attitudinal healing that are in this chart, you'll find it in here. I promise you, it's in here. The 12 principles of attitudinal healing is so critical because fear, the only thing that's going to overcome your fear are the 12 principles of attitudinal healing. And the 12 principles of attitudinal healing, it's here somewhere, I promise you. Not here, resources on permission. Here they are. Thank you. The 12 principles, just quickly. The essence of our being is love. Folks, that will defeat so many belief systems from the beast. Health is inner peace. Healing is letting go of fear. Folks, I just experienced my ex put into hospice, all medicines cut off because it was considered moving toward the end. And health came about within 24 hours, and inner peace started and healing because we started letting go of the fear. And now she's walking around on her own with only a couple medications a day versus 17. Giving and receiving are the same. I gave, but I really was receiving the whole time. We let go of the past. I know these are small, but they're all in your doc. We can let go of the past and of the future. You can't see if you have one foot in the past and you have one foot in the future, you piss all over the present, right? We can't do that. So follow these 12 principles. Now is the only time there is, and each instant is forgiving. We can learn to love ourselves and others by forgiving rather than judging. Folks, there's no more power in life. I don't care if you have $15 in the bank or 15 million or 15 billion. Let me tell you something. There's no greater joy. I've had the millions. Never, ever, ever gave me anything like when I learned the power of forgiveness, the true power of forgiveness from that movie, The Shack, and the 20 sessions that followed it up. We can become love finders rather than fault finders. In all the stuff I'm going through in the last 5, 6, 7 weeks, I just keep trying to find a love rather than fault, because the fault is only belief systems and drugs, not the people involved. 8, we can choose and direct ourselves to be peaceful inside, regardless of what is happening on the outside. I have people say to me all the time, Fred, how do you do it? And it's not anything about me. It's my original version, the same one that you have. It's just through practice. It's just through practice. And this is a big one, folks. We are students and teachers to each other. The more people that cuss me out, the more people that criticize, the more people that say ugly things, I learn so much more from that than those that compliment me. Number 10, we can focus on the whole of life rather than the fragments. You're an eternal being. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. And if you don't believe that we are students and teachers of each other, I learn every day from some of the people that, about 4 weeks ago, I stopped when I walked to the grocery store to get some groceries on the way back. Two homeless guys were out drinking already about 9:30 on a Sunday morning. An hour and 10 minutes later, we had the greatest time for an hour and 10 minutes. I learned so much from those guys. It was incredible. They were crying. I was crying with them. We're talking about life. I was talking about how many people in their life told them their problem was they were sinners and they had to be saved. And tears started coming to their eyes when I said, that's such a lie. It's such a belief system that is so old and outdated. You don't ever have to be saved. You just have to know that you're saved. And it's already inside you. You just got to find it. We can focus on the whole of life rather than the fragments. And then the other one, we can focus on life rather than the fragments. Since love is eternal, death need not to be viewed as fearful. And number 12, we can always perceive others as either loving or fearful, and giving a call of help for love. Right now, what's going on in my life, I have so many people in my life right now that are fearful and giving a call of help for love. And divine intelligence and divine integrity are so faithful. That morning on the beach, watched my 3-minute video on the Facebook Mastermind. And then so faithful Saturday morning when I woke up, and the Holy Spirit said, it's all about Beauty and the Beast. We can always perceive others as either loving or fearful. And this was my prayer the night before I went to bed. God, how can I help? How can I help? What can I do for life today? What can I do for my family? And so it's amazing that how my heart went to, it's just all a call for help and for love. And it's been so peaceful that the emotional intelligence is just flying. So let's finish up with this, because I want to open it up to all of us for to talk about some stuff personally. But so attitude, please study the 12 principles of attitudinal healing. Download that, please. Folks, I'm telling you, life could be a sentence. I just went through this hospice thing, but the hospice wasn't the saddest part, because my ex had to go to a memory care situation, watching the people in their wheelchairs, hungover, drooling from their mouth, not knowing who they were, what they were, so drugged up, watch them receiving medication 4, 5, 6 times a day. Some of them no more than 65, 70 years old. And I sat with tears in my eyes and I thought, what belief systems delivered these people to this place? What belief system delivered the people to this place? That place was so horrible. And I won't tell you how she got there, doesn't matter. But as of yesterday, I got a full refund because that place was so horrible. And yet it's so ranked high on Google because it's a dumping ground for loved ones. Those people are living a sentence from their belief systems. Where are you going to be? Remember, I told you that Sangharu, one of my great, wonderful monks that I follow, he said, there's only 2 people in life you have to impress: your 8-year-old self and your 80-year-old self. Most of those people that I witnessed for those 13 days that I had to live there with her to make sure that she walked out of there, they were sentenced. They were sentenced. And they weren't sentenced by their kids. That's not fair to the kids. They were sentenced there by a belief system in drugs and medicine and whatever else that in their life, who knows. But they did not challenge themselves. They did not practice Socrates' philosophy. An unexamined life is not worth living. They didn't examine themselves on. So I'm encouraging you, find out why that beast wants to keep speaking up and overshadowing your beauty. And then over here, the beast is always about tearing down you first, or you making you believe it's the other people's fault, and then you want to start tearing them down. Folks, the people that have the biggest grudges against me, I'm building them up every day in prayer and in good thoughts, and knowing that it's truly not them. It's not the real them. It's their belief systems. And unfortunately, with my own children, I am tearing down that person who raised them with some of the belief systems. So, but this beast is always about tearing down. There's this whole thing going on because my family has a number of, my daughter has a real big mental health practice. So proud of her. She has 50 mental health practitioners that work for her. And a lot of the belief systems come from the psychological field. And as I say all the time, there's 96 pages of personality disorders. That's not the diagnosis of the personality. That's just a list of them. So there's that belief system. There's something's wrong with us. We are so consumed. There's something wrong with the human race. Instead of there's something so beautiful, but it's just the belief systems that we practice. So there's these books, volumes and volumes, that read them. That people are making millions and millions and millions of dollars of teaching people to build boundaries. Now, I don't have time to go into boundaries, the good, the bad, the evil, but folks, a lot of times these boundaries are not boundaries, not healthy boundaries. They're walls that people have built around because they don't understand what real true forgiveness is. They don't understand true grace. They don't understand the 12 principles of attitudinal healing. Because, the walls that get built up under the label of building boundaries is such bullshit and such a belief system that is so ugly. Now, you may be arguing with me, say, Fred, wait a minute. I just spent 2 years in therapy. Oh, my God. Had I not learned to build boundaries, I would have been overruled. My life would have been a disaster if I had not set up a boundary. There's a balance in the boundaries. And if you want to have that talk, we can go into real depth where the healthy boundaries are and where the unhealthy walls that you've built. Because I'm talking about you build a boundary against yourself because you don't get deep enough to understand no matter what's going on the outside, the inside becomes more beautiful. So I want to challenge you to tear down your walls. Tear down your walls of your own limitations. Learn to live without limits. You don't have any limits. What would you go out and achieve if you knew that failure would never, ever happen? That if you knew success was guaranteed, because success is guaranteed when you keep taking the right steps, time over task over time, as George Philbeck talks about all the time. So folks, I want to encourage you, pay attention to the beauty that's already there. You don't have to create this beauty. You don't have to create this beauty. That beauty is inside you already. That is the original version. Study the ego soul chart. If you haven't been, go in that drive that Joe shared with you. Joe, if you want to hit the Google Drive again, go back to my old sessions where I went into this in depth. So you really understand this. And then each time, the practice of when you know that it's your ego ruling your life versus your soul. This is joy, folks. This is just a sentence over here. This is a sentence. So I encourage you, discover that beauty, that beautiful little girl, that 8-year-old, that 7-year-old. And remember, in here, I talk about Dr. Bruce Lipton in that first slide. Studied Dr. Bruce Lipton, epigenetics. Every single one of us on this call, if you're 49 years old, that means you've lived the first 7 years of your life 7 times over. For me, I had to live them 9 times. I didn't discover this until I was 63 years old. I had repeated my first 7 years of life, sexual abuse, abusive situation, locked in dark rooms to punish me, in and out of reform schools from the time I was 11. I lived with that. And yet the world thought I was this great guy because I'd achieved great achievements in my career, in my religious organization, 35 years, until I was thrown out because my belief systems I challenged, started asking questions, I got thrown out. I didn't understand anything until I was 63 years old. when finally I was forced by, losing a fortune, losing a 40-year marriage, losing a 36-year-old daughter. I was forced to go so deep. I had to go so deep that finally I went, wait a minute, it's all about that 7-year-old that keeps repeating his life over and over again. And then epigenetics came from Dr. Bruce Lipton, and of course the miracles came. And then how life started opening from the inside out. So that beauty to discover that I was trying to prove to the world I was good enough for so many years, when there's no proof needed. You already are. You already are. So discover your beauty, defeat the beast, and tell me what you could do. Tell me what you could do to defeat your beast. So let's open it up. Somebody, not just, I'm gonna look in the chat, but someone speak up.
Yeah. Hey, Fred. Good morning.
Come on. Hey, welcome.
How are you? No,
Hey,
you
you're the right kind of beast, by the way. He's like Jay DeFalco. Watch out. He just started with me last week. He's another beast in a good way, though.
No, I appreciate the coaching that you give from your heart, and that's one of the reasons I the first day I met you is one of the reasons I told you. I said that I'm gonna sign up with you because I think I can learn a lot of things that I would have to self-learn myself and maybe learn the wrong way. Now, there's no right way. Like what you say might be the right way or the wrong way. It's how you take what is interpreted to you by other people that makes it right or wrong. That's what I believe in, because somebody could say something negative and you might take it as negative, but if you take it as negative, then you forgot what is the positive outcome, because there's always a good side and a bad side for every conversation, I believe in.
Yep.
And you know for a fact that I think I lost a good friend because he's holding a grudge against me.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll go there.
But it's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna take that as a positive thing, that that I need to be better. So one of the things that I wanted to tell you, this fear of the beast, truly lied in me. With you, you had your family issue. With me, I had the issue of battling through COVID business loss for my primary business, get into a funk where I knew that I needed to come to this world of real estate because it's something that I wanted to do for a long time, but that fear of the beast was pushing me back. That at this age, do you start all over again? And it's okay to start all over again, because if you don't start all over again, if you're going through something, then you failed altogether, in my opinion.
Yep.
So now people say, "Oh, you got into this business at the wrong time. The market is going down. You should have got into it, 2 years ago." Well, shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's what I
Yep.
say.
Yeah.
And the shoulda, coulda, woulda had to do a lot with me, not anybody else, of why I didn't do what I need to do. So I'm trying to put that beast and that fear away by bringing out the beauty in what I can do and overcome that beast. So, you hit the nail on the head for me today. I really appreciate it.
Good, man. I appreciate it. Hey, listen, by the way, go through that Google Doc. Joe, if you want to share the Google Doc one more time, go through the Google Doc. I actually did a session. One of my Wednesdays was shooting all over yourself. Stop shooting all over yourself. But anyway, look at Laurie's comment. Laurie, Laurie, thank you for that. You're right. Amen. By the way, guys, when you really get serious about understanding life versus trying to know, A Course in Miracles teaches, above all else, I want to see. I know enough. I just want to see. We think we know enough. We don't know anything. The older I get, I don't know anything. I really don't, but I see an awful lot. So, of Course in Miracles, I give credit there, is that quote. I don't want to know anything. I just want to see. But what Laurie just mentioned, I understand. I studied the medical system. I studied the psychological field, the psychiatric field. There's a whole movement against the psychiatric field. Go into the History Channel on the psychiatric industry and how they show that they had a person putting himself out as a patient, and went to 5 different psychiatrists, had 5 different diagnoses, and was prescribed 5 different types of medication from 5 different doctors. So there's all these belief systems. Again, that's not tearing them all down. If it wasn't for the psychiatric industry, maybe who knows what would happen. But look at this chart. This is just another one. This goes around in some of the psychological fields. Happiness depends on your genetics, 50%. Well, study Dr. Bruce Lipton. It's just the opposite. Epigenetics says the opposite. My ex right now is a proof of that. She was placed in hospice to die, and 3 days later, a day and a half later, a night of pumping her full of water and fluids and love and affection and stroking and everything else, the doctor coming in the next day said, "What are you doing here?" But yes, she was sent there. So epigenetics is a real thing, folks. Study it. Dr. Bruce Lipton, epigenetics. That's why I say those people are in the place I was telling you about. It's because they were sentenced there by their belief systems. Think about your 80-year-old, please. Pardon me. Lloyd, thank you for that. Anybody else?
Oh, Frank.
Yes.
First of all, I want to tell you thank you, because you have such amazing energy, such beautiful soul. And the other part you share with us is so important, because I think so. Everybody, we have really a big roots in this life, and create abundance, for your, first of all, for your family, and after for the people around you. First of all, with the word, and after with the action is so important. And what you share today with other, other 46 people over here is so important, because you really, and I hope so in your life, you will touch more people, but you really touch today 46 people. And it's so important, because with your message, other people, they possible create something good for other people. And like this is like something, a snowball. And this is what everybody try to create outside, because the world is really chaotic. And if we don't give good effort, good energy, what you do right now today, and I tell you really thank you, namaste. And I really appreciate only this. I want to tell you. Okay.
You need to study this guy's name. Look him up.
Okay.
Been with us 10 days. Already we have the agent in Italy. Show him your quote on your wall behind you. Are you in your office or no? Where's your quote?
Yeah, this is for Albert Einstein. I have, and I share something, Fred. I really understand something important. How you use your word, how you see your world around you, create your life. For example, in my office, in my house, everywhere, I put good word in the wall, because when I wake up, I want see good information. And it's so important. People, they don't understand. Okay, each word we have inside or we see give you a create your life. And for me, it's most important. What you tell before, Fred, is so important. Everybody, we have obligation to create abundance. If you read the Bible, God wanna tell us to create abundance, because if you don't have abundance and you have fear, you don't create nothing.
Now that's not talk, folks. When you look him up, Jacopo, how old were you when you started your jewelry business?
I am 18 years old.
Yeah, study him. He's living in Miami, but also has business in Italy. And we're just gonna have a ball in Italy. Matter of fact, what's your number one goal for our partnership?
My number one goal. Okay, first of all, I want to.
For me.
For you to speak Italian. Yeah, this is the first my goal. Okay, the first my goal. The first my goal with you to speak Italian. This is the other goal in the business, because we are over here to do business. But first of all, we need to create the inside part. Because if we don't create good inside part, technically nothing outside arrive. I have a goal to own. I am an investor. I buy property, fix, resell. I have cash flow property to own more than 2,100 property. And I have a goal with you, Fred, now to bring in Italy all your knowledge, all your good, and create, more than 100 realtor over there in a couple of years maximum.
Love it. By the way, thank you for some of your comments, Fred. You're amazing, and I appreciate that. But a really good, speaker, leader, healer is to make you be amazing and to get you out of your trance that our belief systems have put us in, right? We're all amazing, right? It's just my experience is what you're feeling, right? And so, but all that's within you. And I thank you for that. I take that compliment. I accept it. I appreciate it. And namaste. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. But I want people to say, I am now amazing. Just say that. So everyone just say that to yourself. I am amazing. I am amazing. Read a book called Fearfully and Wonderfully Made. It's all about the practical from a medical professional that talks about our bodies and the intricacies of it. Our heartbeat 416,000 times a day. It pumps enough blood to fill a railroad car, tanker full of blood. It's called Fearfully and Wonderfully Made. If you need something really practically, look it up on YouTube, Fearfully and Wonderfully Made. I'm sure you can find it on there. But when you read that book, you go, oh my God, this is crazy. Our senses, our bodies, the way they function, the way that God created us, it's incredible. So every single one of us are amazing. We just don't know it yet. And see, that's what's wrong with belief systems that teach there's something wrong with us because we read a certain book or we read a certain scripture. I've studied the Quran. People used to, my Christian friends thought I'd fallen off the deep end when I was quoting the Quran and started to understand it. And I didn't study just the Quran, I studied the historical Quran. And why, do you know the reason they became so radical? Because the Christians and the Jews would attack him all the time. And they would force him to read their scriptures in public, but then they would put their hands over certain parts of their own scriptures when Muhammad would read it because they knew it would condemn them. I mean, this is the history, folks. We think we know. We don't know anything. We've got to see everything. And the divine intelligence, it's not out of his control or her control. When you watch the Shack, God shows up as a black woman. Then he shows up as a Mexican man. And some of my Christian friends say, you're a heretic, Fred. You're a heretic. You've given up on the faith because I promote that movie so much. I go, listen, if I am, I'm enjoying every second of it because I was kind of comfortable living in the box that you're in, but I realized it also from the inside out, I was in prison. So anyway, think big, think amazing, think beautiful, defeat the beast. And that beast is nothing more than that programming from your mother, fathers, teachers, and preachers all your life. So please defeat the beast. And don't defeat them. Let them die a natural death. The Indians say it this way. You have the two wolves inside of us. You have the black and the white wolf inside of you. And the evil and the right one. And the one that's going to shine is the one that you feed the most. So feed that beautiful side of you, that soul side. Starve the ego to death. Don't allow yourself to get upset. If you start to get upset, go, okay, what is it about? Because those emotions, folks, emotions don't have to be negative. And not that you don't feel the emotions of sadness, but you use that sadness to take you to truth. And then once you get to the truth, then that sadness then turns into hope and expectation, or not even expectation, but hope. And it just keeps reminding you that you are full of hope. Because once you lose hope, you'll do what my 48-year-old brother did after love and no hope. And you'll hang yourself. And you don't, or you'll end up in a place like these people that I witnessed for 13 days of my life. Again, I used to volunteer in those kind of places, but that 13-day reminder, how did they get there? How did they get there? And some of them, folks, I kid you, they're in their 60s, 70s. It's just crazy. And a lot of people say, well, Fred, darn, it's dementia, it's Alzheimer's, it's this, it's that. A lot of that's preventable. Study epigenetics, folks. Please get on the proactive for your health. Get on proactive for your wealth, for your happiness. Proactive. Study that on YouTube. Proactive versus reactive. Okay. So keep working that beauty up. Okay. Super. Kenya, I am amazing. I believe it. Say it one more time. I am amazing. I believe it. Let's see, Laura. I'll sign up for Italian lessons. I have family there and would love to recruit there. Fantastic. All right, guys. Anybody else? 9:30. Anybody else? Joe, you got the links in there, right, for the Google Docs? Yep. And the Facebook group. Can you throw the Facebook group in there? Yep. It's up there at the top. Facebook group. Please join the Facebook group if you're not there. I'm available for you if I can help you in any way. Okay. Thank you. You're amazing. You are amazing. Talk to you later. Joe, thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
Bye-bye.